Flare is hinting that its long-awaited Spark Flare token airdrop to XRP holders is just around the corner. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here today. Here we are on the XRP charts. We are down 3.5% on the day, but I did want to let you guys know, huge news coming for XRP and the XRP community. Right here we are, XRP Army. Check it out. XRP airdrop incoming. Flare outline schedule for long-awaited Spark Flare token giveaway. Those of you that have been in XRP for some time, remember this. Some of you guys may have been in so long ago, you forgot about this because it was quite the rage for quite some time, and then it kind of went away. So we'll be covering that. We'll be covering the XRP charts, the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour. We'll be covering this article. We will also be jumping into other crypto topics, everything that's trending around crypto today. This is going to be the most important article that we cover today. China tells state banks to prepare for a massive dollar dump and yuan buying spree as Beijing's prior interventions have failed to stem its currency's worst year since 1994. And why is that important to you? Well, here, let me just go ahead and show you, and you're going to want to stick around for that article for sure. But here's what's going on. The Dixie is the strongest it's been. We have to actually switch to the weekly charts. We even have to switch to the monthly charts. That's how long ago the dollar has been this strong. All right. So we're currently sitting right here at $114. The last time we were in this range was all the way back. Well, it started to dump. It was actually higher, but we'll use this right here. May of 2002. All right. So May of 2002 is when this absolutely dumped. And what's crazy is if you take a look here and you go back, remember what happened in September of 2001. Well, the dollar actually started to rally from there. And then that is obviously when the massive crash hit against the dollar. Now, what does that mean? Well, when the dollar rallies, we can take a look over here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin dumps. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, if China starts dumping the dollar, buying back their own currency, that means that it's going to weaken the dollar. And if the dollar starts to weaken finally, what does that mean? And I'm not saying that China's the only one. Other countries are doing this as well. And when I cover this article, you see what I'm saying. But in reality, the dollar has to weaken. It is too strong for how crappy the economy is right now. No one wants to buy stocks. No one wants to buy cryptos. Why? Because the dollar is so strong. Everyone is putting all their money into the dollar right now, holding tight. People have lots and lots and lots of dry powder ready to go. So we will see if this falls in line with okay, so here's another one of those coincidences. I like somebody in the comment section said there is no conspiracies, there is no coincidences. Well, here's something interesting as well. We take a look here at the SPX 500. The SPX 500 hit a low that has not been hit since 2020. All right, so it just actually created a bullish divergence on the weekly charts. On the monthly charts, it's still a dive down, but on the weekly charts, that's there. So the fact that we've hit a low, okay, China wants to dump the dollar. The Dixie seems to have hit a potential top, maybe. If you look at the weekly, it's starting to come down. Those are all great signs for the crypto markets and stock market. So obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, just financial entertainment, financial education, but there's a lot of coincidences lining up for a potential pump in the market. So we are going to cover that article and also a couple of headlines, top stories of the week last week. Pro-centralization Russia president grants citizenship to Edward Snowden. Breaking Interpol red notice issued for Do Kwon. The FTX US wins auction for Voyager digital assets. And judge orders SEC to turn Hinman documents over. And Pantera plans to raise $1.25 billion. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, welcome back to the channel. By the way, I'm Ryan Huggins. I'm a crypto and real estate investor here in Southern California, and my job is to help be your crypto shortcut. So if you don't have time to spend hours a day looking through headlines, reading articles, reading the charts and all of that, then just simply click that subscribe button, and we will be glad to be that shortcut for you. So first and foremost, here we are in the charts for XRP. Today is the final day of this weekly candle. We have 2 hours, 2 minutes left in the candle. It is going to end bearish, but the interesting thing is it did dip down pretty deep. So you can see this previous candle here, this candle here left a wick to the top, and then it came back down to here, starting the next following week with a massive pump to the upside, leaving a big giant gap here. And so if you guys are new to the channel, I'm going to just show you right here. We use a tool called the fair value gap here. And as you see on the weekly, there's still a little fair value gap to be filled. Will it be filled? You never know. You can see all the way back here on this weekly candle of April 25th, 2022, it left a gap. Most of it got filled, but not all of it. This previous week, there was a massive positive fair value gap that was from May 9th week, and that one did get filled all the way up into it because this candle ran all the way up to our 50 exponential moving average before it rejected here on the weekly chart. And you can see this, when you turn that off, you can see the wick. So we do have a little tiny fair value gap. It is a potential that it fills that. So if we take a look here on the daily charts, and then we take a look at our Heikin-Ashi candles, this is what we see as far as supply and demand zones for the daily charts for XRP. And that leaves us this candle right here is the bottom side daily supply and demand candle, which gives us that 34 cents support level. Now, there's a lot of great things that show up on the charts that say that it's not going to get there. Number one, our 50 exponential moving average on the daily has continued to climb. We are now up at 40 cents. And so price will eventually meet with this. Where does it meet? Is this going to continue climbing while this trickles down over time and then they hit? Or is it going to just rocket ship to the next level, to the upside? This week is going to be a massive week. So do we start Monday, the new candle tomorrow? Will it be a big dump week because everyone's freaking out? Will the market completely bottom, leave a crazy downward wick, and then everything shoot up? Stocks, cryptos, everything like that? Or if China does decide to dump all of their dollar currency, buying the yuan, and then all of a sudden dollar starts losing weakness, well, we could just see an immediate pump to the upside. And then as we take a look here on XRP specifically, what we've been looking at is the weekly charts for the RSI. RSI has now officially peaked above the 50 level as of today. So the RSI is above 50. That is entering bullish territory. It is currently also colliding right now with the upper level of the volatility band or the Bollinger Band here at that same exact spot. Now, oftentimes when it does get to a top like that, you could see a burst through and then a correction, a burst through, correction, a burst through, correction. But these were all the way up at the overbought territory, up at that 70-ish level. This one wasn't quite there yet. I mean, it did peak and hit it. So the interesting thing is we could see this continue to just climb along with each other to the upside. There's a lot of room to continue to grow on the weekly RSI and also on the weekly charts. And if we take a look at our weekly supply and demand zone, it's all the way up here. So our weekly supply and demand zone gets us to that 78 cents to 91 cents. So the room that we have left of the climb of the RSI could very likely get us up into that price. Now, something else that caught my eye yesterday is we have now entered month number 2, even though the month just started, there's 29 days left in it. But last month's Heikin-Ashi candle was a spinning top, a green spinning top, not necessarily a doji because the body's a little bit thicker, but you got a spinning top candle. Could we see a continuation of the upside? What we see here, though, is we had down, 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 spinning top, continued down, right? So we had down, spinning top, but we had movement to the upside. So we're going to watch very closely if we continue making this momentum pressure to the upside. If the dollar starts to weaken, China dumps their dollar holdings, and everything starts to pump to the upside, we could be in for a ride of our lifetimes for XRP. We could be seeing new highs. So let's jump to the Flare token. Flare is hinting that its long-awaited Spark Flare token airdrop to XRP holders is just around the corner with a new announcement to validators. The company notes in a new schedule The validators can now onboard to the Flare network. Flare also says it's currently working to onboard crypto exchanges to ensure the airdrop is as seamless as possible. Provided enough validators take up their Flare roles or up their roles, Flare plans to distribute the Flare tokens between October 24th and November 6th. The company says the exact date depends on the feedback from the exchanges, and Flare Network, with its native FLR token, aims to essentially bring smart contract capabilities to various blockchain networks, starting with XRP and then Litecoin. The company previously said that each eligible holder will immediately receive 15% of their claimable Spark tokens and then claim an average of 3% per month, carrying on for a minimum of 25 months and a maximum of 34 months. Flare will be distributed to XRP holders based on a snapshot of the network that was taken in late 2020. So you may have been holding a bunch of XRP for whatever reason you sold it. Well, you'll be getting Flare anyway, as what I'm understanding, because of the snapshot was taken in 2020. Hopefully you're still holding your XRP, because we may be in for a really exciting explosion. And by the way, again, not financial advice. Flare plans to launch in beta for the first 6 to 9 months, but the company says that will not impact the token airdrop. The airdrop has endured significant delays. Flare initially planned to distribute the tokens of its native token Spark in the first half of 2021. And that's when everyone was really in an uproar, very excited it was going to happen, and then delay, right? So XRP is trading at 47.8 cents. At the time of writing, the 6th ranked crypto asset by market cap is down more than 1% in the past 24 hours. So let me know, did you hold back in 2020? Are you getting the Flare? 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 Flare. And let's run through these headlines and what happened. So Edward Snowden was reportedly received Russian citizenship via a decision from the country's president, Vladimir Putin. Snowden has been a permanent resident in Russia since 2013 after he exposed secrets related to the United States National Security Agency. However, Snowden favors less government involvement than Putin's approach to leadership. Snowden has offered comment on crypto multiple times and helped build crypto asset Zcash. Now, if you haven't heard, Snowden is very big on privacy coins, and obviously Zcash being one of those. Breaking: Interpol red notice issued for Do Kwon, South Korea prosecutors. Global criminal police organization Interpol has put out an alert known as a red notice in order to help locate and arrest Terraform Labs co-founder Do Kwon. I hope they find him and we get our money back, wherever he may be. Terra's ecosystem fell apart early in 2022. And by the way, there's lots and lots of rumors that he actually sold a bunch of his tokens prior to the crash, knowing that they were basically going to be rug pulling in no time. So charges were brought against Kwon in South Korea for his involvement in the Terra project. Kwon has tweeted that he is not hiding. He has thought to be in Singapore, although Reuters reporting has indicated a possible change in location. Authorities in South Korea have also taken steps to freeze funds reportedly associated with Kwon. FTX wins auction for Voyager digital assets. The auction to acquire Voyager digital assets ended this week when the crypto exchange FTX US emerged as the winner. And if you're not familiar with this, FTX was shorting the market extremely hard, so that way they would go out of business. They did, and now they were able to buy them for pennies on the dollar. Edging out competing bids from Crosstower and Binance, the US exchange paid $1.4 billion for Voyager's assets, which is roughly the same as the lending remaining assets. So basically they bought it for equal amounts. So they got no money for like coming out ahead. They just basically got saved from being insolvent, bankrupt, losing all their money. The deal is pending approval from the US Bankruptcy Court. Wave Financial also participated in the bidding and has since debated the outcome. And then the big XRP news, we actually broke this news earlier this week on the channel. Judge orders SEC to turn Hinman documents over to Ripple Labs after months of dispute. This is a major win for XRP and the XRP community. And then, of course, Ripple, the company, who is the one that's really on trial here. U.S. District Court Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission must provide information about comments from a former government official that could impact Ripple's fight against the securities regulator. In a 2018 speech, former SEC Corporation Finance Division Director William Hinman noted that Bitcoin and Ether did not classify as securities. The ruling from Torres means that the SEC must not hold back documents related to that speech. The battle between Ripple and the SEC began in 2020 with the commission calling XRP a security. And that was after the commission already said that cryptos were not a security, Bitcoin and also Ethereum. Pantera Capital plans to raise $1.25 billion for second blockchain fund report. After launching its first blockchain fund in 2021, crypto-centric hedge fund Pantera Capital is reportedly looking to raise a whopping $1.25 billion for a second fund targeting digital asset projects. We want to provide liquidity for people that are kind of giving up because we're still very bullish on the next 10 to 20 years, Pantera CEO Dan Moorhead told Bloomberg. So interesting, right? These guys are raising a bunch of money so that way they can open up a blockchain or a fund where you can exchange your cryptocurrencies that you might not be able to sell elsewhere because there's not enough liquidity. So basically they're buying your cheap priced cryptos that you bought for way more. They're buying it at a discount. They're really excited about it because they know they have that HODL gang faith that in 10 to 20 years, they're all going to be worth significantly higher numbers. All right, now jumping over to this China story, let's go ahead and get into it. So the People's Bank of China has told major state-run banks to prepare to shed the dollar holdings while snapping up offshore yuan, which has continued to fall despite prior interventions, sources told Reuters. The scale of this latest effort to prop up the yuan will be big and could provide a floor to the Chinese currency, according to the report. The amount of dollars to be sold hasn't been decided yet, but Reuters said it will primarily involve the state bank's currency reserves. The offshore branches, including those based in Hong Kong, New York, and London, were ordered to review their offshore yuan holdings and check to see the dollar reserves are ready to unload. On Thursday, the yuan fell by 0.9% to $7.13 against the dollar and is on track for its worst annual decline since 1994, having lost more than 11% so far this year. Earlier this week, China's yuan this week depreciated to a record low against the greenback, and its domestic unit fell to its weakest level since the 2008 financial crisis. And so if you guys have not heard about this, by the way, China is also in a really severe situation with their economy. Every country around the world is facing this craziness because of the COVID fake money pump, right? They pumped a bunch of fake Ponzi money into the system to help recover everything while the interest rates were at basically zero, and it just ran up everything inflation-wise and basically ruined the whole world economy. The Federal Reserve's hawkish policy path has bolstered the dollar to 20-year highs this year, putting pressure on other central banks and triggering a reverse currency war. While a weaker currency can sometimes be beneficial, as it means exports get cheaper, the yuan's recent decline below the psychological threshold of $7 per has raised concerns. The People's Bank of China has consistently imposed a strong bias to its currency reference rate to help support the yuan. Central bank officials have also issued verbal warnings against speculating on the yuan and increased the cost of shorting the currency. But it has refrained from raising benchmark rates and instead has been easing them in an effort to spark growth in the economy that's been dragging down by COVID lockdowns, a real estate crash, and supply chain snags.